set me free. You can leave. Are they out of? Because I saw they did. Okay. Because I saw they did a lady from Carthage that I knew, her photos.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? So we have Mr. Cali Cuts himself, Deshaun Harris, with us in the studio.
Oh, God.
And then we have Dr. Fayola Delica in the waiting room. She will be with us momentarily. But, y'all, we have an amazing show about to go down. So, Mr. Harris, introduce yourself, sir.
My name is Deshaun Harris, more well known as of late by Cali Cuts. I have a barbershop located in North Tyler, Texas at 1503. That's 1503 West 29th Street. I've been in business just under 3 years, and I try to do my part, giving back to the community and I guess doing my fair share and taking part. My clientele base is John Q. Public, so it's only right that I try to involve myself outside of business with the public.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you are also on my show, Swag of a King. Yes. Y'all make sure y'all check him out on YouTube and on Let's Talk About It Jam. But we got to see a different side of you on that interview. So today is going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
We're going to ask some deeper questions, I guess, to you. You have anything for him right now?
Well, you've already introduced yourself. So what made you go into entrepreneurship?
I will tell you what made me become a barber. Okay. So in the interview that we spoke on, I told you I was a pretty good job getting dude. And I was in the oil field before I undertook this, and I got hurt. And so after I got hurt, my job kind of turned their back on me. You know what I mean? So I was left with like bills piling up and things of that nature. But ultimately, I wanted to be in charge of my own quality of life.
Right.
So with that said, after going through all the drama with workman's comp and such, they asked me what I wanted to do to return to the workforce. So I thought about it. I had like 5 minutes to review my whole life and like what I could possibly want to do for the rest of my life. And the first thing I can come up with is something that I wouldn't even say I had a passion for it. I just knew how to do a little bit. And I felt like it would be my cheapest way towards ownership. So I said, I want to cut hair. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll send you to school. I was like, solid. Wow. So
that's
kind of how this all started.
So how long have you been cutting hair, been a barber?
Man, I got hurt in 2014. That whole process of my job took about a year. I started school Valentine's Day, 2016. I'm so counting my first day of school to now, we're talking about 4 years total.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So yes, he is my barber. He took a look at my hair. I seen it.
Yeah, I always look because Jen will cheat on you. Well, I don't know where the camera is, but Jen will cheat on you.
I did hear that in that interview.
Listen. You know what? It was not my fault. I was in a bind, and I needed to do what I needed to do.
See, listen, that's how that. I don't know if this is the right network for that, but that's how that $40 gets spent. Ladies, stay away from the bind.
Whatever. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. But so, yes, he is my barber, and he's great. So you cut women, you cut men, you cut kids.
Yeah, man.
You see everybody.
As a matter of fact, on Monday, I'm taking down some butterfly locks or something. I'm taking hair down too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man. Shampoo, all that. Like,
that's dope.
I'm trying to broaden my horizon.
So okay, what do you offer right now?
Yeah.
Wow. Hair. I cut hair all types. I do facials. I do steam cleansing. Razor work for sure. That's one thing that
steam cleansing.
Okay, so like a facial.
Explain that to like some of the viewers who don't know.
Well, there's this apparatus called steam, and that's the process when you heat water high enough that it turns from a liquid form to a vapor.
Right.
Well, that vapor is hot enough to clear the pores of your skin.
Oh.
So there's this little machine that I got that you kind of push over somebody's face and it shoots steam in their face. That combined with hot towels, we wrap the face up and give a deep cleaning to the face.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so you do facials, you do color. Now you're gonna think about.
I do man weaves. So if anybody out there is, I'm bald myself, and that's just not my cup of Kool-Aid. But I'm here for you if you need that.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up. I like that. That's
awesome.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your. Well, I know you don't want to go into detail.
I mean, you can ask me questions, and I'll just dodge them. So, let's not make this. Let's not make
this. Yes, you will.
let's not make this awkward. I mean, let's go ahead. I mean, shoot, I'm here.
No, I mean it's okay. So for the business owners out there, or the fresh business owners out there that are wanting to get into your particular area, like the beauty industry, because there's so many different things that you can do. How would you encourage somebody?
The way I would encourage you is to first say, have your mind made up.
Right.
And then I would say, identify a problem that you want to help people with and focus on that. Like, I didn't start off wanting to do man weaves and everything. You know what I mean? Everything that we just mentioned, I just started off like, okay, I got to get a fade out of here. I got to do that in a certain amount of time. I got to be efficient. I got to be good enough to charge people money.
Right.
Enough money for me to survive on. And why I say that is because you can stand back and look at the big picture and it can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, dang, there's so much to try to.
Right.
Nobody's gonna trust Jen to get in their hair or fix their food. But if you just start off with French fries, and before you know it, you know what I mean, you'll be able to scoot the fries or the fryer to the side and turn on the oven, turn on the stove. Yeah. And so it's just a process. And like I said, for anybody, like even with you guys' business and you guys' endeavors, have your mind made up. And once your mind made up, and things will just unfold for you. Like, I'm blessed beyond reason.
Yes.
Of course, like, I thank my mom and dad for, my genetic pattern or whatever. But at the same time, I just think that over time, like, I've had so many life experiences, you know what I mean? Where a lot of those things helped me become well-rounded. And when I finally made my mind up to go a certain direction, a lot of those things started to make sense. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. That's good. I like that. I mean, because it is. I mean, it can be overwhelming, and it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? But you can learn so many different things. What was the hardest thing for you to learn?
The hardest thing was to wrap my mind around not being good. I mean, typically speaking, like, we all shy away from things we're not good at, whether it's our shape in a certain type of clothes or a fabric, or if we don't think we look good in a certain light. We'll scare ourselves. We'll overthink. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for me, I was like, "There's no way somebody's gonna pay me $25 to do this." I didn't know.
Yeah.
And what I found out is that, one, I know who I'm dealing with before they knew who they're dealing with. Over time, and so the more nervous I am, they're gonna feed off. They're gonna pick up on it. Like, man, does this dude really know what he's doing? You know what I'm saying? If I just go in and mess it up to fix it, then they won't know that I don't know what I'm doing until the end, until it's time to pay.
Right.
But the more it's repetitious, the more you stand in front of this microphone, the more you stand in front of a camera, the more comfortable you get.
Right.
And so the more you play with those tools, I say all of those tools become spoons, forks, and knives. You know what I mean? I don't think you ever pick up a spoon and like, dang, what am I gonna do with this?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's probably a liquid, pasta, fork, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like a straw. You know what I mean? So like, I've got so comfortable with my tools that I know how to use them, and I'm comfortable with them. It's almost an unconscious thing for me.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, you would have to be comfortable. And
you have
yeah, like having a steady hand,
especially when you're dealing with our people, because they
be the first ones.
A lot of what I find a lot is that people will pay you for liability reasons. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us, we come up with the less than, so we know how to kind of put ourselves together, and we don't necessarily have to go out into the market and shop for certain things.
Right.
But once somebody has enough confidence in you to pay you for their appearance, they're paying you for liability. So like, they're paying you being comfortable, like you're going to be able to complete that task. Not only that, I don't know, like you're just as bad as you are good. You know what I mean? So once they give you that money, like, it's up to you to not stain your name.
Right.
And like, over time, I think you get better with that. You get more comfortable leveraging your bigger picture for somebody's opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Do you have other barbers in the
Yes.
shop?
Total, there's 5 of us. The team is lit. Nay the barber, she's been with me the longest thus far. She's been here just over a year. I got a couple other guys, Tori P the barber. Y'all check them out. My guy Worm, Square Ties on Facebook. And my new guy, family, came from California. His name is Isaac the barber.
Okay.
So
nice.
And that's a whole nother facet of business. You know what I mean? Dealing with the people that deal with your people, essentially, you know what I mean? And the different personalities and moods and stuff like that. I think being a hairstylist, being anybody in the service industry, a part of you has to be somewhat of a shrink, like somewhat of a psychologist.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna unload their problems.
Absolutely, absolutely, and not even just their problems, just their concerns, questions, and again, going back to the confidence that's bestowed in you. Once you build, once you have so much time in a certain place, you know what I mean? Drama, life, money, everything that you desire and some of the things that you don't can catch up with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're in one spot, you're in one space. With that said, you start building your clientele base. Maybe you might have 2 business-driven women out of your whole entire clientele base. Maybe you got car dealers, you got plumbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're an essential point of contact for things that people use every day.
Right.
So people refer to you and like, hey, do you know anybody that can, you know what I'm saying? And over time, it was a premonition at first, but now it's starting to be another stream of revenue, potentially. You know what I mean? Because people like, oh, I know you know such and such. So-and-so told me you cut their hair. How do I get in touch with them? And people be like, hey, because they know that you talk to a lot of people. Hey, if you refer somebody to me, then I'll pay you $100 if somebody buys a car from me or something like that.
Yeah.
But everybody that comes to the shop, hindsight, got to the shop by car. So, you know, my clientele base could produce a whole new stream of revenue for me just with that alone. You know what I mean? Not to mention my lawn guy, my plumber, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? So saving money is making money. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. That's what's up. So you're not just a barber. You have other ventures that you do. So talk to us about that.
Man,
we got time today.
My plate is so full. And the funny thing is, I feel like I was probably at my lowest point during my injury. And like, I feel like I made my mind up about the oil field. And it's almost damning. It hurts to make your mind up and then to know that you were completely wrong. Or maybe you weren't wrong, but it didn't work out the way you expected.
Yeah.
So I had to remake my mind up, and I had to develop confidence in myself again, and I had to make myself brave enough to fail. With the barbershop, I got back on social media. I got back in people's face. I had to like brush myself off and like stick my chest back out. I know I'm slouching a little bit right now, but ultimately that's what it was. And then it's funny when you see somebody doing in their own element. When you see somebody in their own element, it's almost like poetry in motion. There's something beautiful about that. And so you being at your most confident and people seeing you in that capacity, it allows them to be confident in you. And they're like, you know what? Have you ever thought about being in movies? Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about writing a book? And I was like, you know what? I thought about all of that. Just like a lot of us, you know what I mean? But I never had the confidence. I never thought that if I put my pen to the pad, my pen to the paper, that somebody would actually pick it up and read it, or somebody would pick up a camera and be like, "Say cheese," you know what I mean? Like, I want to shoot you again, like me, you know what I mean? And from the outside looking in, I think that people will assume how you feel about yourself or how well you think you're gonna do something, and we have no idea until somebody asks, like, "Hey, can you do that for me? Can you throw a football for me? Can you shoot a basketball for me?" You never know. And if you've never experienced anything like that, then you don't know until you know. You know what I mean?
That's dope. I like it.
Definitely.
I didn't answer the question.
You didn't. I was just like, okay, well, you know,
that was good.
Well, I'm just rambling. I'm just rambling. No, but okay, so from the first and foremost, let me say that when I was getting ready to complete school, I ran into a partner of mine named Chris Pringle. His name is Profit Shares, phonetically spelled on Facebook. I live right across the street from a building he purchased. And during the time of my injury, I sat across the street on my porch, depressed, looking at this building that the previous owner wouldn't sell to me. So when he bought the building, I ended up, it was some time later, I don't know if it was just shy of a year that he owned the building, but it wasn't too much going on. But again, I said, I'm sitting over there across the street like a nosy neighbor, and I'm like, man, that could really be something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really felt that, you know, that could really be something. And so when we finally made it around to introducing ourselves to each other and talking, you know, I told him, you know, what I had going on. I'm fresh out of barber school, but I feel like I got what it takes, you know what I mean, to make this thing shake. We could really make this location pop in the neighborhood, you know? And so there's a lot of long nights, laying towel, building retail shelves, pulling electric wire. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've done a lot of things throughout my life to where when I got to that point, it started to make sense.
Right.
With that said, me and Chris got to rocking and rolling, and we went from being associates to business partners, from business partners to brothers. And we motivate each other in a way like I've never really had a relationship, a non-physical relationship that had a evenly yoked counterbalance, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of like, it's just as much as we encourage each other, we talk stuff to each other. You know what I mean? And I know I can't have stuff with him, and equally him for me.
Right.
With that said, I think that just everything that went into that, and before that, everything that went into us as people, started to open doors. So at this point, I'm on a radio show once a week on 104.9 KGLD with my girl Ashley S. Amy on Facebook.
Ash on the Beat.
And the name of the show, yes, you're correct. It's called Ash on the Beat. And we kind of cover hot topics in the city. It's a Christian-based network, so you know we're a bit censored there. But all in all, that door opened from the initial door, having the courage to walk through that first door, open up the second door, and so forth and so on. With that said, my birthday's in January. We had a photo shoot probably a week prior to my birthday, and I dropped the photos right around the time of my birthday, and then some movie auditions came. So people were forwarding, right? So yeah, so people forwarded me like DeMarcus Bailey. Shout out to DeMarcus Bailey.
Yeah,
they forwarded me some of his information, and I was like, hey man, you know, we really think you might be a good look for some of the projects he has going on. Wow. So reach out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And before I could reach out, somebody reached out to me. So we began to correspond, and I got to audition for my first movie.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, it was dope.
So what was that experience like?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. I was calm as pond water until I walked in that room with a panel of people that kind of like you read through the lines with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Once I got in front of them, I froze. I was just like a deer in headlights. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They had me read from this. I had no idea. I hadn't looked over any of the script or any of that. I just showed up. So I was kind of fearful. It was new for me, and I didn't do as well as I thought I should. But I reached out to DeMarcus, and I told him, I was like, I'm one of those people that once I'm comfortable, you'll see a whole nother side of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just very uncomfortable. He's like, no, bro, you got a look that I like, and that I definitely got you in mind for other projects. You know what I'm saying? So on some street terminology, it's crumbs to bricks. You know, you start off small, and eventually we're gonna have a whole cake here.
Absolutely.
So if I'm willing to go through the process, he's willing to work with me, and I'm more than willing to do that.
That's awesome. Well, congrats!
Congratulations on that.
Mama, we made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what's up. See, that's what I like to hear. I love to hear that.
Yeah. So as far as all of that going on, yeah, I have quite a bit going on, but I'm always trying to help. Yeah. Always trying to turn somebody on, because I feel like if you want to get somewhere, like, go by yourself. But if you want to stay there, you go with a team.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel
I
feel like a lot of times we kick ourselves or beat ourselves up about like what's not available to us. But I feel like high in part, the reason why things aren't available to us because we always come by ourselves. And as Black people, I think that most often we separate ourselves from the body to shine. You know what I mean? Like if we apply to a corporate job or, you know, a mid-level management job for a warehouse, it's like, oh, you're not like them. You know what I mean? It kind of separates you. Or when you get a little bag, first thing you do is want to move to the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? You alienate yourself. I feel like if we wanted a neighborhood in the suburbs, then why don't we all go buy some land and then build on that, as opposed to go move where they don't want us and then be ostracized or be under a magnifying glass for everything. You know what I mean?
Right. So what do you want to see for your community, the community that your barbershop is currently in? Because y'all do a lot of community service. Y'all do a lot of things at the barbershop itself. So what do you want to see different on that side of town?
You know what? I'd be lying to say that I don't want to see anything different. But to be honest with you, I don't want to see anything different. I think there's good bones in the community. I think there's good blood, good people in the community. Absolutely. A spirit that often leaves the community to execute its plans. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have to understand as a whole that we can do whatever we do elsewhere where we're at. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to leave Tyler to make it big in the music. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to move to Hollywood. And I'm from Cali, but you don't have to move to Hollywood to be in a movie. You know what I'm saying? You have to look in your own backyard, like look in your own house, clean your own kitchen. You know what I'm saying? And it'll teach you about every appliance in your kitchen. If you hand wash your car, you'll learn every scratch, every ding, every bump, every bruise. If you look in the mirror, like a lot of times if we don't like what we see in the mirror, we won't look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? All in all, like I said, I think it's more about self-assessment. I think that we'll go a lot further if we're willing to look at ourselves in the mirror as a whole and accurately like judge ourselves. No filter, no this, no that. You know what I mean? Like this is what we're working with. Now, where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying?
I like that. That's dope. That's dope. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with your viewers? Because I know you have a big old fan base. Where y'all at?
Oh, man, you should have tagged me in it. You should have tagged me in the video.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm rocking with y'all. I know we spoke some months back about future projects you guys have going on.
Yes.
If I got time, you know, I'm more than available.
Well, we definitely want you in Bam Guy.
Yes.
For sure.
I've already mentioned that to you, so you got to get on it.
For sure. I mean, I'm really just gotta you gotta let me know. I'm pretty decent at writing, man. If you need like a little editorial piece,
what?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do. We definitely do. Absolutely.
On a subject or something like that, and we can go in.
Just told her we're gonna add.
We were just talking about that.
More editors to Bam Woman and Bam Guy.
What I think is awesome about you guys' platform and the fact that you're online, which eliminates a lot of overhead. I think that from my perspective, I wouldn't look at your magazine as a cover to cover. Like it's so expansive, it's endless. Like maybe you might have issues, you know what I mean? Like each issue like targets a certain few subjects, you know what I mean? But if you thought about your magazine like from cover to cover, it's millions of pages. You know what I'm saying? Like it's endless. You know, it's endless.
True.
And I mean, the hardest part is probably being an editor and like deciding like the cut.
What we're gonna
like what makes it, what doesn't, because when you go in, you're so passionate about everything. But to hit a certain point, strike a certain chord, like you want to focus specifically at certain subjects or a certain few subjects to kind of, you know, pinpoint that to drive certain points home. But as a whole, big picture wise, like what you guys are doing is like Jet Magazine. Like it could be as big as you can imagine, or it can be as small as a secret. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know
That's true. I like that. Oh man, Jet. I love Jet.
I know. We were just talking about Jet earlier at the museum, how our parents used to collect them. I remember I'd be waiting on that Jet magazine.
Bro, hey, I didn't read a whole lot. While we talked in our interview, I used to stay on punishment, so I used to always have to read. But I made sure that I checked out that Beauty of the Week.
Everybody did.
But I mean, like, I don't know if they have like copyrights or whatever to that, but I would definitely incorporate that into a woman's magazine. Why not? It's plenty of beautiful Black women, and you guys come in all forms, shapes, and sizes.
That is definitely
you know what I'm saying?
True.
And like to give light back to that, like have something to look forward to.
That's something to think about.
You know what I'm saying? And it just happened. Now it's 2021, and men are pretty too. So you can also, have a man of the week or whatever. You know what I mean?
Definitely, I like that.
I like that whole.
But for me, like I know that business wise, I'm selling to like a variety of different personality types, and maybe on one aspect, I'm cutting a person's hair that just wants to keep it clean and off their ears, and another person, they want to take 100 photos every haircut, and they want to, you know what I'm saying? They're super into that, which is fine. But between those two people, there's also a potential clientele base, and I have to scratch their itches as well. So for the person that wants to see the beauty of the week, or the bow of the week, if you will, beauty and bow, that's kind of dope.
I do like that. Beauty and bow of the week.
You can have that.
We can have that. Okay.
You can have that. I'm not gonna charge you.
Y'all heard that first.
Yeah, we said it online. Y'all heard it. We can have that.
But I mean, but like all in all, like I feel like when you're trying to like develop some kind of master plan, it's gonna be you're gonna forget more than you can remember.
Right.
But things like that, it's like if there's 6 personality types, like how do I how do I like tug at the shirt of each one of these personality types? And then the resonance or the response or the feedback that you get will tell you, okay, we need to push harder on that. I want to go further into this. You know what I'm saying? We don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't want any dead space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We want every issue to hit all of these, touch all of these senses. You know what I'm saying? Strike all of these chords. Again, man, like I feel like we're in a beautiful time, like right now, to where we have been blessed with the time to actually like check ourselves and assess ourselves.
Yes.
And since cameras are everywhere and phones are everywhere and phones have cameras on them, you know, like we're making history right now. And I only think a lot of us before this time really were abreast to that. Like a lot of us didn't really realize it. Like when we think about history, we think about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Grandma, Grandpa. Like for us to be here now, they made history. And like for the kids that we have and so forth and so on, we making history. We may not look at it like that in real time, but we really doing it.
I mean, with everything that has happened in the last year, it's like history is being made in each household because we're doing stuff totally different than we've ever done it. So yeah, we're breaking the mode.
And I know y'all trying to wrap this up real quick. I went to the grocery store. I went to Super One right around the corner during the snowstorm, right?
Oh my gosh, the blizzard.
Yes, ma'am.
The 2021 blizzard in Texas.
And so like there was a line outside of the grocery store. And you could tell that there was no precedent for this. There was no previous anything like this happening before. So people were just like trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? Get it by the seat of or fly by the seat of their pants. And so in front of the grocery store, people, like, since you couldn't pull the buggies through the parking lot due to the snow, people were backing their cars up and picking their groceries up in front of the store.
Oh no!
It reminded me of Color Purple though. Like when they went into town, and she was like, "You can stay all day." You know what I'm saying? Like it reminded me of that. Like the first, you know what I mean? The first commerce. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, like we went all the way back. Like technology didn't matter. Your social status didn't matter. Like nothing that we typically feed into, your followers, like none of that meant anything at that time. You know what I'm saying? And it broke every household down to bare bones. Like, okay, like what are you made of? With your magazine, my business, and the collection of businesses that are associated with me, I think that's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you outside of that? Like, like without that name brand on you or that this or that, like, what are you? You know what I mean? And I feel like what you guys got going is awesome. And I wish you guys the best moving forward.
Thank you so much. Well, now we got another notch in our belt. We have a whole nother demographic. Yes. You bring that, and we appreciate it.
We do.
I'm looking at the viewers. I just have to. But you know what? It's like, again, like I mentioned before, it's crumbs to bricks.
Yeah.
And
you got to start somewhere.
Man. Sure. And it's gonna go there. And the thing is, the more that you tell people that I'm the best rapper alive, like Lil Wayne, I don't feel like anybody called Lil Wayne the best rapper alive before he did. Then all of a sudden, he's on The View, and they bring him out the best rapper alive, Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like on cable television, you hear like things that we grew up saying, like baby mama, like that's. And I think that might be in the dictionary now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm for real though. Like white folks use that now. White folks say baby mama. You know what I'm saying? And it started just like Bling Bling did. You know what I mean? It started like as a lyric. It started off in the hood. It started off in some project somewhere, and it just grew. And I feel like wherever this idea started at, wherever this idea was birthed at, you just got to keep reminding people, like, we are that. We are this. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
You gotta kind of fake it till you make it. And don't be embarrassed about doing that, because that's what sells. People want to buy into the controversy, like, oh, you can't cut hair that good, or that magazine ain't Jet. You know what I'm saying? Like that, there's a slippery slope. I mean, Jet is on the other side of the spectrum. But if somebody tells me I'm not Jet, my question to them would be like, who am I not then? Who else am I not? Since you compare me, like, I love to be compared to fall short of Jet at this point.
Really? Like, for real?
Exactly. Or somebody like, you're not Paul Mitchell. Great.
Right. Awesome. I don't want to be them.
But you brought Paul up in my, you know what I'm saying, in conversation to me. So like, I'm headed somewhere.
Right. Definitely. I love it. It's dope. Okay. Well, hey, listen, we thank you for coming.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers?
Oh God. Like that's my new thing. I don't care. I took it. Whoever feel like they own that, holler at me. Because this mine now.
Copyrights.
I'm gonna buy that.
So how can they find you on social media?
They can find me at Cali Cuts. That's Kali. I never spelled this out loud. KALIKUTS on Facebook. On Instagram it's Cali Cuts Boss. Spelled the same way, Cali Cuts, BOSS, phonetically spelled. And on Snapchat at Cali Cuts. I'm not really into Twitter. Blame your last president for that, but I'm not into Twitter. And you know, and to be honest, I'm a sponge. I love to learn. So whatever critiques or advice that you got for me moving forward, because it's a whole lot of new stuff going on for me. So whatever that, you know, whatever tidbits or tips that I can get, man, I'm more than my inbox is open. Just no weird stuff.
Oh, right. No weird stuff.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
But no, thank you so much for joining us. If you just sit back for a few minutes, we're going to talk to our next guest.
Okay.
Yes. You can hang out with us a little bit longer.
Okay.
Dr. Delica, are you there? Hi, there she is.
Excited. Definitely.
How are you?
I'm a little jealous.
Uh-oh.
To the studio from MIA.
Hey.
Listen, we'll have to bring you back. We'll have to bring you down here or come see you. We want to come to Miami.
We want to come. We are going to Miami.
Oh, when are you coming to my neck of the woods?
In June.
In June. So we'll have to let you know.
That's my
in the budget. Put me in the budget.
That is my birthday month, so definitely come through. MIA is always hot, literally.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
Man, that's gonna be a fun trip. That's not gonna be a business.
No, it's not a business.
Here in the MIA.
It's gonna be business for me.
Well, Dr. Delica, let everybody know who you are, where you're from, where you're located right now, and what you do. Because you do a lot.
Yes.
So, I mean, just kind of bring it down to like a minute.
Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Fayola Delica. I am your passion and purpose activator. What I do is help you to identify your purpose so you can live life out loud, passionately and purposefully. I do so through my coaching and consulting programs. I am an international award-winning in the following categories: healthcare professional for over 20 years, beauty queen. I'm your currently Miss International Excellence 2021-2022. I am a serial entrepreneur, multiple winning speaker, motivational speaker internationally, as well as multiple #1 Amazon bestselling author, as well as multiple #1 international bestselling author. But I'm just a woman who loves God. I'm a minister as well. I function in the fivefold ministries, and I just want to boss up. This is the season to do a major takeover. We ain't playing. We ain't leaving money on the table. We ain't leaving no opportunities on the table. We taking everything. We making bags and we securing them real good.
That's what's
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's dope. Okay, so if you can, kind of go into some of the things that you do, like the ministry and everything like that, what's some of the hardest things that you've encountered as an entrepreneur?
I would say definitely it's realizing that you got to have grit. You got to be true to yourself because, as you alluded to, I do wear a lot of hats. I'm involved in my community. I'm involved in church. I'm involved in my profession. And, people would say you do so much. You're a jack of all trades and a master of none. But I said, if Jesus had many names and the Garden of Eden had many rivers, and Bishop T.D. Jakes has a great sermon that talks about the 4 rivers that run through the Garden of Eden, we should have multiple streams of income. And I had to learn that the hard way when I lost everything. I literally became homeless after the 2008 recession. I was living a good life. I called myself the Black Hilton sister. And when I lost it all, that was an aha moment for me. The American dream. My parents are from the Caribbean. So it was like, make sure you get a good education, make sure you get a good job. I kind of did it backwards. I built my white picket fence and waiting for the husband and the kids to meet me later. And so when I lost everything and I became homeless, it really was an aha moment for me. So I learned and became true to who I am. I don't allow people to put me in a box. I don't allow people to define me. Once I knew my true identity, what God had created me for, that's why people say you're such a go-getter. You're so ambitious. I said, this is all I know. I've tried to slow down. I've tried to take the back seat, but that's not how God created me. So as entrepreneurs, I say, be true to yourself. It's so funny. I was watching one Night in Miami, I think is what the movie is called. And I was talking to my sister and, just the conversation Does everyone have the opportunity to be great? And we had this interesting conversation where it was like, those individuals, Madam C.J. Walker, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Jimmy Brown, all these individuals who were in this movie and other movies, and this recent movie, Mama something, some jazz woman. Is that they were true to themselves. They were hardcore. You could not push them. If they were going to go straight and their mindset go straight, they ain't going to go to the left. They ain't going to go to the right. So I just tell entrepreneurs, you got to put your feet in the ground and stay there. You can't be wishy-washy. You can't be like going over here because someone told you shouldn't be doing that, or going over here because someone told you, you should be doing this. You just got to be true to yourself and put it all in. I emptied out my 401k. It wasn't much, but I knew something was on the inside and I had to be true to myself. And so 7 years later, here I am as an entrepreneur full-time, as well as still working in healthcare. But I just love helping people, and I want to live life on my own terms. Just like, the previous guest, I'm actually recovering from a work-related injury. And I said, never again, I want to live life on my own terms. No one's going to tell me as a grown woman, I got to ask for days off. I got to tell you when I'm going on vacation. You tell me how much money I can make. No, I'm too educated and too smart for that.
Ooh. You just said a mouthful right there. That's how I feel all week.
I think I'm getting emotional.
Yes, but like what motivates you and drives you to just keep pressing and keep going?
I think the true essence of people of color, the Black community, African diaspora, when you know your history, your family history, that really makes you stay your ground. Because I was like, even my last relationship, I was like, look, boy, you better be lucky my family got a name, because I would go straight hood on you. Do the gangster boo type stuff. But
I heard that it came out. I was like, Pastor?
I didn't hear what he said.
No, I said I heard the hood come out a little bit. I was like, Pastor?
I said I'm a gangster boo for Jesus, so don't get it twisted.
Gangsta boo for Jesus. Look, that needs to go on the t-shirt.
Yes. What's the song? There's a song, something about hands. I'll put your hand. Don't make me put my hands on you or something. It's like this joke.
Because I throw hands. Or try Jesus. Or something like that.
Try Jesus, but don't try me. I still got it. All right.
Right.
But really, I know my history. My mom's side, I have an uncle, a late uncle. He was like the Dr. Martin Luther King for the Haitian community. So, he fought for human rights activists. He was a Catholic priest, well-educated. He went to Northwestern, became an engineer, but he left it all to fight for the cause of the people. He literally lost his life through the battle. 2009, he passed away. And then on my dad's side, both sides are very religious. My dad's side, religious, very community focused in the country they came from. So I know that I come from a bloodline that is a very high standards, royalty. And so it makes me walk with my head held high. So when I started to really understand my culture, not just from what my parents told me, but actually while I was a student at the University of Florida, I took classes on Haitian Creole, understanding the language, the history, and the culture. I walked with my head held high, because everybody knows 1804 when the Haitian, the country of Haiti won its independence, but they don't know the rest of the story. They don't know that, the Haitian army was asked to come to Louisiana. They don't know that Chicago was named after a Haitian. They don't know that even my brother-in-law was telling me that Haiti helped Greece to win its independence. Like, no one knows that history. So when you know your own history, you really know, like, man, you can't talk to me any kind of way, because I know who I am. So that's what really makes me ambitious, because I know I have a legacy to uphold. And I don't take life lightly. They may say I may be bougie, I have high standards. It's not that I'm bougie or high standards. I know my culture and I know my identity.
That's powerful.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Look, I'm like,
I don't know what it is, but it's something about her voice that keeps my eyes alive.
It's like, look, I didn't know none of that stuff that you were talking about. So we got a whole history lesson in under 5 minutes.
It's sad that none of that is taught. It's almost wrong. Like, when you were talking, I was thinking about the perspective that we all share, even though like we didn't grow up next to each other,
right?
And how like we're so much more ready to jump on somebody or act out because we feel like we don't have anything to stand on but our reputation, you know. But like you said, knowing your history will make you behave as if you got something to maintain or uphold.
Absolutely.
And I respect that more than anything that I've heard.
Oh my goodness. I'm kind of like him. I'm like, dang, that's
powerful.
deep.
We have to teach our own history. When I was in seminary, I studied Judaism for 2.5 years. Okay. And that's where we need to go back. We cannot allow American history, U.S. history in school to teach Black children who they are, because it was written by someone who was not Black. So they're not going to tell you the whole story. They're not going to empower you enough to do another revolution or to do another takeover. They just want to get you enough to get your palate wet, but it's really at the home, in the homes and in our own communities that we have to go back to that. It takes a village to raise a child, where the village comes in and educate and gives the inspiration and let you know, do you know that your great-grandfather was a king of such and such? Or do you know that the slaves that came from West Africa were actually warriors and they were kings and queens, like really giving that essence. And I think then our children will walk with a different pep in their step.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, knowledge is power for sure, but you have to have the right knowledge.
And apply knowledge. You have a knowledge. Fool can have a lot of information, but if you're not applying it and putting it to use, then it's really defeats the purpose as well.
You know what? I think I take every time that you speak, I take something away from it. And and one major thing that I just took from it was that law is written in blood. I've heard that time and time again. And I also, and what I related it to is censorship. So
yeah.
Reason why things are given to us from a certain perspective is because the precedent, I guess, was set, and it showed them like, look, we can't tell them this or we can't inform them of that. And so it keeps us in place. So right. And for the few that may step out of bounds or step out of place, they got something for them called, jail or confinement, separate them from the body. Yeah. Sure.
Or even assassination, because if you look at Malcolm X, you look at Dr. Martin Luther King, you look at all these individuals who went against the status quo because they were open in the eyes of their own people, they were shut up one way, shape, or form.
Right.
Man, that's so true. That's deep. Yeah, like you opened
Rest
my eyes,
Tupac.
and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man.
But you know what, Doctor? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm engaged. I'm sorry.
Right
but my business partner, he told me, he said, man, you remind me of Nipsey Hussle. And he was like, you're the dude to get shot up here. And I was like, man, what kind of thing is that to say? And he was like, I didn't mean it like that. He was like, you got this aura about you that people gravitate towards. Yeah. All it takes is the wrong white person to see you leading these people, or these people, the looks on their faces. He's like, maybe you don't look at people when they're looking at you, but there's this look on people's faces when they're talking to you and stuff. And like the wrong person can't know that. And oftentimes in our community, I don't think that we protect that energy. I don't think how. I think since we're large in part led to separate ourselves from the body, I think that if we see something special, our first inclination is to envy it or dispel it in any kind of way instead of appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I always believe valuing it while the person is like Nipsey. I didn't know much of his story till after he passed away. And, it's so unfortunate when it's individuals like that who are making a difference in their community, but they don't dress a certain way. They don't look a certain way. So people kind of already, prejudge them. And it's really sad that it's after people die that we start understanding their value. So after my uncle passed away, I began to give people their flowers. So people's like, why are you always celebrating people? Why are you always, I share more on my profiles about other people than myself, because I value and appreciate people, and I love celebrating people. And it's those things that we have to go back into our communities. That is the plan of the enemy. That is the plan of the WP, if you want to put it like that, for us to be divided and not allow us to understand. If we really came together, man, we are the biggest consumers, but why are we not the biggest producers? And if we are producing, we're producing still to their liking, not to our own liking. Yeah. So it's really changing the perspective and the narrative for our own selves, so we can have that power, because we should be thriving. We came into this country with a whole lot of stuff, and we still got it in us. We just have to tap it.
Yes.
I don't know much about your uncle, but I will gain some perspective after this. Mm-hmm. But I did grow up in California, and I was on the Nipsey Hussle movement before he passed. And one thing was me moving to a different place. I live in Texas with them now, but one thing for me is when I tried to deliver it or like bring him to people that didn't know about him, it was like he personified the California attitude. What that was to me is like a young black man getting it, and I'm not asking for anything. I don't need your validation. I don't need your cosign. I'm going to get it regardless.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much, but for some reason, just getting the energy from you, I feel like your uncle was a lot like that in his own way, in his own time.
He was.
And I feel like not without even trying to, I embody that, because a lot of times when I'm dealing or interacting with people that don't know me, it's like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Me know that I'm something. I'm something or someone to reckon with.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's when people, when people have that aura, it's because they identify with their purpose in themselves. No one has to tell me why I'm on the earth. I know why. And when you live that, when you know that on the inside, it exuberates on the outside, and people can't identify. They'll either think you're stuck up, or you're conceited, or you think you're all that, but you're just confident in who you are because you've tapped in into your.
Yeah, that is so true.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
I know, because I get that all the time. But I'm like, that's
too.
And
I do that.
when you get your own taste of your own self, then you come back. But until then, you can't stop my shine. You can't stop the glow of the hustle, because I know who I am, and you can't tell me otherwise.
But what do you think that comes from? Like, what do you think that natural inclination to call you stuck up with? In my opinion, I think it's because of we only dig so deep. So they're gonna look at you and be like, oh, she got her hair done, she got 30-inch hair, or she just put up in that car. So automatically they go to how you feel about yourself, as opposed to like, how did she go about getting that? How does she have all of these things? How does she do all of these things and still have the energy to do more?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so easy for us to shut doors. Like, and I want to, me personally, because I deal with the public so regularly, I want to know how to open that door and leave it open. Like, it's cool. Like, this is open door policy. Like, I don't know, the same thing that gives you life can give you death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think, you just have to be true to yourself. And that's why I think, it fits me so well, passion and purpose activator, whether that's in a secular setting or in a Christian setting, because when you know all that is inside of you and you live purpose, like people say, how can you do all these different things? Like, where do you get the energy from? I said, what I do, I love it. All has common denominators. At the end of the day, I just want people to be happy. How do you become happy? You get to live out your purpose and passion. And I always tell my clients, though, I don't know why I'm here, I don't know my purpose. I said, well, if you wake up the next day, what would you do and not get paid for it? And you still smile every day. Once you start tapping in, then you turn that into monetizing it. Then people are not living for money. They're living for a cause, and money flows to you. When you're trying to chase money, money has its own energy. It has its own attraction. So if you're like chasing money, it's always going to be, you're never going to be content because you're chasing it. But if it's chasing you, there will always be an overflow. So it's really understanding that process. Then, whoever is connected to you, they'll connect to you. If not, at the end of the day, everybody's not for you. Everybody's not your cup of tea. So you just keep it moving and don't take it personal.
I said that earlier this week, that everybody's not your client.
Yeah.
But I did mention to both the ladies before you came on that being in a certain space, like for me, it was a physical location, because unlike you, I had no idea I knew who I was, first and last name, but I never had a purpose. I felt like I was well-rounded enough. I had a high enough IQ that I can kind of pick up whatever I needed to pick up to get through said situation. But being in a centralized location, like I was being still long enough for the money to catch up. And now that people think that I make all this money, now what I have to say matters more than it ever has in my life.
Yeah.
So my question to you, for me to pass on to the people that listen to what I have to say, is what exactly was it that helped you identify with your purpose? Because I feel like a lot of us are echoes out here. We're echoes. We echo.
That's a good question.
We echo sentiment. We echo perspective. We echo look. We echo. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like down there in Florida, a lot of people look like Kodak Black. but because Kodak Black is popular, there's a lot of boys in Tyler that look like Kodak Black. For that matter, a lot of people in California look like Kodak Black. But nobody we sit and watch and put these people up on pedestals to watch them fall from that pedestal, not understanding what makes them them.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, it comes from a faith connection foundation. Both sides of my parents were religious leaders in their own rights. And, my family gave me that foundation and understanding about the finding my own personality, my own space, even though I'm like the middle child. So, the middle child syndrome. I was the one that gave them a run for their money. I was, I did a lot of crazy things, but not in a bad way, but I really challenged them. And what it came to understand is once I knew who God was and why he created me on the earth, it solidified everything about me. I didn't know why I talked so much. I mean, I would be, in elementary school, they'll say good grades, but boy, does she talk a lot.
Right.
It was, I had dreams as a child. I didn't know that the dreams was really meaning I was a prophet, because I didn't grow up in that atmosphere. I grew up Catholic and Episcopal, so I wasn't Pentecostal, catching tongues and speaking catching tongues and speaking in tongues and catching the Holy Ghost. I thought I was of the devil, because I didn't see that. And my background, my Haitian culture is very superstitious. So it was either animalism, voodoo, or something along those lines, even though my parents didn't practice it. But once I started to understand who God is and how he created me, it allowed me to connect with that purpose. I'm a nurse by profession. That's my vocation. But also in the spiritual sense, I'm a healer and in the deliverance ministry. So when you know your gifts and talents, it really makes you understand, why do you do the things you do? Why do you act the way you act? Is because when you know your gifts and talents, natural and spiritual, it will really make sense of, the essence of why certain things you gravitate. Why are some of the passions that you have? But why is it that these kind of people connect to you? In 2008, when I became homeless, it was like I had to move back to my parents' house. I had to start all over, and I was in my late 20s, going into my 30s, and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, how did this happen? But then I became to understand that I had to connect with people that I wouldn't have connected with if I was in North Carolina. Because moving back to Florida, individuals coming up to me saying, they'll tell me the whole life story, then they'll tell me, how can you help me? I'm like, look, do you know my issues? Let me tell you, I'm living at home with my parents. I've lost my house. I've lost everything I own. I'm asking my parents for quarters, nickels, and dimes. I ain't got gas in my car. My account is a negative something. So what you want from me now? And I had to understand that God was helping me to understand through the process. Just like you said earlier, I'm not defined by my zip code. I'm not defined by the car that I drive. I'm not defined by the Gucci, Prada, Dior that I used to wear. I'm really defined on what I bring to the earth. And the late Dr. Miles Monroe said, I will not leave this earth until I'm emptied out. Because the grave is the richest place. Many people have died with their goals and dreams because they were waiting for people to validate them. They were living in fear. They didn't feel inadequate. They felt disqualified, whatever their excuses were. And when you come to that place, like, look, I am leaving this earth emptied. I am dropping every gem that's on the inside of me on this earth. And I'm going to go back to the grave, back to the dust that I came from, emptied out. And nothing will be missing. And when you have that hunger and the desire, it really pulls so much out of you. Like, there's times I'm ministering all day, like I'm with my little sister, and she's like, you've been talking all day, and don't get me started when I minister. I could, it could be a 1 hour window and I'm going for 4 hours, because it's my gifts and talents on the inside of me. It's like the oil in my lamp, and it keeps me going. It never goes out.
Yes.
I could talk to you all day long.
Yeah. No, for real. Like, I'm over here like, man, like she, like,
I'm going after everything.
You're speaking
after, just hearing that, because that really spoke into me. Because
you're just speaking volumes to so many feelings that I have, and like it really touched me when you said nursing is your vocation. Like, my vocation is being a barber. But I've always had the energy that I give off now. I think it's more properly channeled at this point.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, I always tell people these same things. Like, everything that we believe in outside of like spirituality, like, is aftermarket. So like you said, the house, the car, the clothes, your followers, so to speak. Like, that's all something that we've been taught. You know what I mean? To value and perceive. But like, our true essence is like the energy, that we give off and that we receive in turn, and I'm blown away right now.
More to offer, just like how you guys recently experienced your blizzard, just like it was a level playing field. The rich and the poor, they was all trying to find water. They were all trying to find gas. There was no VIP section for them to go find a heated cave or anything like that. They were all in the same, everybody was in the same boat. And what I tell believers, this is the time to boss up. Like, God is really leveling the playing field. I'm not saying he created COVID, but he's allowing it for us to tap in, because let me tell you, if you know economics, wealth is created during downturn.
Absolutely.
The Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, they came out of the Great Depression, 1930s, because someone in their family had the light bulb go off to say, I need to invest my money in this, whether that's real estate, the stock market, businesses, whatever it was. And they allowed that to continue increasing and compound interest or whatever you want to call it. So this is why I tell our community, this is a time, go ahead, put your feelings aside. I don't care how you feel about who's in office or who's giving out what, but your tax dollars is the PPP loan. Your tax dollars is the EIDL loan and grant. Your tax dollars is all these government programs that they're giving due to this pandemic. And some people's like, well, I don't want the government money. I said, okay, you don't want the government money. Go ahead and send me your check. Send me your, I'll give you a little cut. But it's really, we have to be in a position, we cannot continue to keep our eyes closed, because that's how we're missing out on these opportunities. That's how we're missing out on wealth. I wasn't meant to be poor. I could wear a t-shirt for poverty. I could wear a t-shirt for homelessness. I could wear a t-shirt for all kind of issues that our community is facing. But one t-shirt I'm going to wear before I leave this earth is wealthy. Because my children will not have to endure what I went through. My children's children will not. I declare it, I decree it. Poverty is not our portion. Lack is not our, even diseases and health is not our portion.
All right.
Yeah.
T-shirt. You know what? I definitely appreciate the energy, and I appreciate your parents. I appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast today with you. Your energy, the words that you spoke thus far is just definitely something I needed to hear. So a lot of times I feel like I keep myself in like a shell, or I keep myself in a certain area where I am able to give myself to other people, but it's not too often that I get to talk to somebody that I want to ask questions.
Yeah. Well, and I commend you as well as a young man for all that you're doing in our community. I may not live in Texas, may not be able to take advantage of how you're serving the community. But, it's one thing when you can see a Black man who has a heart to serve and willing to do it the legal way, the right way. You're a mentor to so many young men that are looking at you from afar. And that's what people don't realize. They're thinking that, it's about the masses that they can see. But do you think Dr. Martin Luther King realized the masses that he wasn't going to see based on the yes that he said? And imagine the yes that you're saying to yourself with all these opportunities come your way. One time I was listening to a Christian radio station, and it said, by you not being obedient to the calling on your life, how many millions of people are you impacting?
Ooh.
Not just what you see, but because it's a domino effect. They impact is another person they impact. That's why we got to realize our life is not our own. And that's not even from a religious perspective. Your life is really not your own. You're on this purpose to impact the lives of people. At the end of the day, no matter what business you are in, no matter what service you provide, you're in people business. You're in the business for people, because it's people that buy your services, your products, or whatever kind of business you have. Once we understand that, man, it will be a shift, because you being a barber, you're not really selling hair services.
No, I'm selling myself over and over again.
What is the end result for your clients? Their end result is a lifestyle. Their end result is confidence. Their end result is having this persona of who they want to be. Because if it was the case, none of us would get our hair cut.
Right.
We'll just be like way back then when they just let their hair grow till it couldn't grow anymore.
Right.
But once we understand the end result of why people come to us for our products and services, I think we'll have a different perspective on how we see our business. We'll have a different perspective how we see our clients, and then we'll have a different perspective even how we market, because that's how successful brands are making it. Coach knows its lane. It's not trying to sell to Louis Vuitton because they have a different clientele. Their demographics is different. Walmart knows its lane because Target and Walmart, even though they may seem similar, their clientele is different. So they market differently. So we just have to understand the language that our customers are speaking to really tap into the wealth. It's not that difficult. We just have to be in tune, and we have to look at our businesses, not from our perspective, not from making a profit, but how can I service my client more? And realizing you can add more to that. You don't have to just be a barber. You could probably start a barber school. You know, you can be someone who invests in other kids. You can start an apprenticeship program. Like, it's really about being creative and stepping out of the box. So when you leave, your legacy outlives you, whether that's through a book, whether that's through what you build, and come into a place to say, man, like, at the end of the day, I want somebody to say my name, okay? And not in the sense of the song, you know?
Right.
But so it's just really, we just really gotta take over. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I need
You just got like
you sure did.
Barber
She
school
spoke
was
all
like,
the way
I heard
through.
somebody last week, you know, stated, because Tyler used to have a barber school, and they said that they wish somebody would come in and open it back up and start it again.
There you go.
There's a number of things that I have on the table. I'm, like I said, I'm an all. Usually I'm more well spoken than this, but I'm just taking in everything that you're, and it really wants to make me more proficient at speaking, so I can kind of make sure that the bullets that I have loaded in my clip actually get out and down the barrel.
Absolutely. And you know, I used to think like that too. Like, I can't speak. I'm not a speaker. I don't like being in front of people.
Right.
But it's like God is like, he's saying it doesn't matter what you think. Right. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it for me. Right. So just get out there and just talk. Just talk.
Right.
That's all you got to do. I will put the words in your mouth. I will bring the people to you, because there are people out there that need you, that, you know, they really want to hear your story, and they want to know what they need to do, or, you know, how did you make it through whatever that you were going through, because somebody else is going through the same thing. So it's like you said, we are not here for us. We are here for the people that need us.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
I know that.
Kids need it. Especially, you know, I have a youth program. It's called the 360 Evolution Academy. It's a nonprofit etiquette school. And, you know, my Black boys, they will always say, I want to be the next football player. I want to be the next NFL or whatever. And I said, okay, you know, I support you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I'll be out there with the pom-poms. If you want me to put a tutu on, I'll put the tutu on too. But the thing is, at the end of the day, the chances are very slim. What else are you going to do? What plan B do you have? I'm not going to tell you to change your plan A. That's your plan A. You know, go ahead. But what is your backup plan? And, you know, I just encourage you, you know, really going into school, speaking to the young boys, because they're so lost, because all they're doing is looking at TV, looking at movies, and they're saying, well, the only way I can help my family, or the only way I can make it out of the hood, or the only way I can be, you know, famous is by becoming a rapper, is by, you know, banging and ganging and all these different things. But that's not the truth. You know, and if they really know the stories of some of these rappers came from money. They just floss and fake, you know, they just fake life. It's a big life for them. You know, they never gangbang, they never shot nobody, they never did anything, but they putting on this persona that, you know, they hardcore, whatever. Man, let somebody run up to them real quick. I used to work in the prison. Let somebody run up in them. Half of them would be running in the corner, be scared as hell, but they try to just, you know, put up a front. Yeah. So it's really us speaking into our next generation, because they are so lost. You know, there's hope, there's future. They're very smart. They're very, you know, they have so much innovation. My 10-year-old niece, I feel sorry for her parents. I don't know how they're gonna keep up with, because they're so brilliant because of the advancement of technology. But at the same time, when it comes to personality, when it comes to purpose, when it comes to what's on the inside of them, they're not connecting to it, because all they're connecting to is technology. They're not connecting to that human interaction.
Right.
They're lost.
Right. They're not bridging the gap.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think I struggle with, and I'm nearly 40 years old, but one thing I think I struggle with is dumbing it down. And dumbing it down just to like try to marginalize myself, or try to fit in, try to become normal. And then at some point to realize that there's no such thing as normal. And then from that point, the question was like, what do I do with all of this? I was listening to you like about the talking and getting good grades, but you talk too much. And what I thought to myself is like, you know, the same thing that you get whoopings or spankings for as a kid, you get lifetime achievement awards for, you know, things. You know what I mean?
That is so true.
Spanish little boy that stayed in trouble or whatever, or the guy that has tattoos everywhere ends up being this guy that people listen to at that point of understanding. You know what I mean?
And it's a level of like, he understands me, like he gets it. Or you know, she understands me, she gets it, because you've gone through what you've gone through. It's
the authenticity of it. And that's what I get from you, even though it's long distance. the realness. Like I feel the passion.
I don't ask for any other way. They say I'm too transparent for a pastor.
No, but that's what people want.
They tell me on my social media, oh, you need to take that down because you are this. You ran for, because I ran for office as well, and I may do it again. And so it's like they're trying to put me in this square box. And I'm like, look, I don't know any other way. I can't lie to the people. Like, how can I tell you that you can overcome, but I give you this perfect, beautiful, life with none, I don't tell you none of my background story. I don't tell you none of my challenges. Then that's why you set people up to fail, because they're expecting, they don't live up to a standard. But if we really all take take our dirty laundry out, or we speak to the elephant in the room, a lot of us have been through similar stuff. But some people just want to give this pretty picture, and I don't know any other way. I just keep it 100. I've worked with high school students most of my life. When it came to community, and I taught for a little bit, I thought teaching high school was going to be teaching like Sunday school. I learned real quick.
Well, now, I mean, I feel like at this point, I feel like at this point, like you're the head of the table, and it's easier to project at this point. But I know for a fact, without even knowing you, that up until a certain point in your life, you got asked this one question a lot, like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I feel like you had an angle at learning who you really were. For all of us, for people like that with a certain energy or a certain je ne sais quoi that don't have that to their advantage, to reach back and find out who they are. I think they're left with that question, like, who do I think I am? And before you know it, they start to rely on the machine that kind of dictates and controls things as it has been for so long.
They live the status quo. They're walking zombies.
Absolutely.
They have no life in them.
Right. Because I think they're paid. They're paid, or they're compensated, underpaid to say the least, but they're compensated to forget their dreams. And I think people with that certain energy are dreamers, are visionaries through their dreams. But when you're told time after time that go get a job, or urinate in this cup, or like fill these blanks so you can get promoted to said position, you know what I mean? I think that you leverage, and I feel like that's kind of in essence selling your soul. It's not like the devil doesn't pop up with a contract, with an application or a break time or a scheduled time to urinate. Right. You know what I mean? And the devil is actually buying your time on earth to keep you from living your life.
Oh man.
No,
I didn't even look at it like that, but oh my goodness.
And that's where the challenge is, because I'm like, for the 3 months that I've been out of work because of this work injury, I'm like, God, like, how did I get here? Like, I was on a roll to make a certain amount of money from my job. And so when this happened, I just short of that goal that I had for this year. And it was just that same thing, like all my minister friends, like, you ain't going back to the workforce. I say, yes, I am, because I'm in nursing, I'm getting my nurse practitioner. And I'm like, I got to go back to the workforce because I'm, pursuing another degree and all these different things that I have. But it's that balance, because I know, I have to live a certain lifestyle where I'll be able to travel. When I need to go minister, or there's an issue in my community. I remember when I was in AmeriCorps, they almost kicked me out of AmeriCorps because they're like, you're never here. You're always running to a community meeting or some kind of event. And I'm like, that's my responsibility. I'm a community leader. I'm an advocate for my community. So it does limit you when you have so much to offer outside of a job. Right. Do what God has called you to do. But it's that balance, because I feel like even though I know God has called me more outside of the workplace, I still have a responsibility in the workplace, because that's where I'm able to speak into people's lives. My staff, I was a nursing supervisor at a facility, 296 patients. On an average day, I could have 30 plus staff members under me, or even more than that, because I mostly worked 11 to 7, the graveyard shift. But I came to understand, I was like, why am I here? They're totally paying me way beyond, way below what I should be getting after 20 years of experience. But I knew my assignment was to speak into people's lives. I knew my assignment was to minister to others. I knew my assignment was to encourage the patients that we had that were in our long-term care facility. So, it's really understanding in what season of life you're in. And when you are in the workplace, you gain those skill sets that you can take back to your business. To your community, because that's your training ground. That's your on-the-job training, because school's not going to teach you that. I went to go get an MBA. My sister has an MBA. My brother-in-law's getting an MBA. And I realized I don't need to get an MBA to be a business owner, to be successful. But I can definitely take the things that I've learned on a job in corporate America and you know, shift that over into my businesses, my ministries, and my nonprofits.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Wow. Man, that was perfectly said.
It was. As well, a lot of other things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Again, back to the devil with an application. You could have took the check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of us do, and not the precedent is set for us to do so.
Yeah, that's how society is.
Yeah, I speak a lot to young boys about like wanting to be rappers and NFL players or basketball players, and I tell them, I was like, do you know why all of the black superstars are 18 to 31? Is because at some point in time that light turns on. You can't make LeBron James at this point get in front of a camera and spew some rhetoric. You know what I mean? But at 22, when they come out of college and they're destitute and they need the check, they're more willing to eat, if not even not say anything, just to be silent. Mind your business, go spend this money, go on vacation, pop bottles, buy a necklace. You know what I mean? More nothingness for the people coming behind you to buy into.
Because it's just like people who win the lottery. You know, if they don't know money, lottery winners lose their money within 5 years. They actually get poorer than they were before. Right. You know, because they didn't have that mindset. They didn't understand how to really adjust to this new life. So it's the same thing with young athletes. You know, they see this, you know, and not every athlete gets millions of dollars. I have friends that married, you know, professional athletes. You know, not all of them make those 6-7 figures. Some of them barely making 100,000. And if they are, you know, it just, that kind of depends. You know, they have to be like the front, you know, a star athlete to get those big contracts. But it's really helping our kids to understand when you get that money, how are you investing it? You know, when you talk to a lot of them, they've blown the money, or sometimes years later they have nothing, or you find them so much in debt. But if we have that conversation with them, you know, especially when they start getting into, you know, drafted, or they look like, you know, they're starting to get scouted, having someone, you know, who has the wherewithal and understanding, whether that's their coach or someone who's already in the business, to really galvanize our young athletes and say, hey, you know, you're going to make this type of money, but you need to be wise with it. You know, take that money, invest in real estate, take that money, invest in stock, take that money and, you know, do good things. And even not to the point where you're buying a house for your mom and all those different things. That's great. But how are you going to get a return on that investment? Because you're not going to be 50 years old still running across somebody's field. You're not going to be 70 years old still shooting pump. Like, you have to realize you have to look at the long term and not just look at for the here and now, which unfortunately they do because they're young. They don't know any better. But
ignorance is bliss. Something that I say a lot to these kids. Ignorance is bliss, and you only know what you know. And so I think that putting those young stars out in front of them, it provides a false sense of security. And with that said, so like the end goal, like you were talking about in our professions, to nurse somebody back to health or to make somebody look good, the machine, I like to call it, their end goal is to keep you developing this false sense of security. So you can ultimately, if like through that selective process, you happen to become a superstar, you're still a prisoner to your fame. And I think that because a lot of us come up with nothing, we're willing to sacrifice what we understand as freedom for that popularity, for that check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, it goes back to selling your soul. We expect the devil to pop up, you know, with his tail waving in a contract that disappears after you sign it in blood. But honestly, there's so many ways to sell yourself. Yep. And I think that we often take the lesser, and that's why we don't have a lot to show for it today.
Yeah. They're looking,
like, man,
listen, we can talk all night.
We can, but we have definitely went over, but it was so worth it. Like,
absolutely.
You know, like you said, you know, you continually pour out, but you need somebody to pour into you. Yes. And you just poured into us. Absolutely. And I appreciate it. And thank you so much, because I needed that.
You know, I think we all did, because we were all kind of like, what? Yeah. Like, we were in tune to what you were saying, and we were just taking it all in. Because I mean,
but I'm honored, and I thank you all, because I know you guys just had it rough through the blizzard. You know, the whole state was shut down and everything like that. So I'm glad you guys are doing well. But you know, we got to get hungry. You know, like Les Brown, he you know, his famous talk is about being hungry. We got to be hungry, because this is not the time to play small. This is not the time to be grabbing crumbs. We passed the crumb stage. Right. You know, this is the time we got to get the whole pie.
Right.
and get somebody else's pie while we at it.
Well, let everybody know how they can reach out to you, how they can book you for motivational speaking, because you did that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, once again, I thank y'all for the opportunity, and I greet the guest as well who's there. I am Dr. Fayola Delica. I'm your passion and purpose activator. I am on all social media platforms. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, whatever other social media outlet there is. Definitely you can go to my website, www.fayoladelica.com. That's my first name, last name.com. As far as booking for speakings, we're definitely booking throughout the rest of this year, traveling as well. You know, we're not going to allow COVID to stop us this time around. We kind of laid low in 2020, but 2021, we're definitely getting back into the grind. So, you know, we still do virtual events, but, you know, looking forward to travel as well. I'm just someone who really has I'm on a mission. I'm on a serious mission. And that mission is to help people live out loud. I've been there. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with homelessness. I was molested numerous times as a kid. My list can go on and on and on. What could have stopped me from being the Fayola you see today? You know, God had to give me my second win. God had to give me my another chance at life, because I literally wanted to take my life because all that life had dealt me. But when I came to realize, I was really just building my inner strength. So I just want to encourage you all, you know, this pandemic is hard. You know, COVID-19 has brought a lot of challenges unexpectedly. We don't know how long we're going to be in this state. But what I will tell you all that are listening is to know that you have so much to offer this world. This is the time to really be in tune with who you are. Do some soul searching. If you're still asking for your purpose, why am I here? You know, just know that there's something greatness on the inside of you. Many people did not wake up this morning. There's people that took their last breath. There's people that died from COVID. And so even if you had COVID and you lived, that is a blessing when it's in itself. So just know that there's greatness on the inside of you. The world is waiting for you. Someone is holding on to life because they need to speak to you. So do what God has called you to do and be great. And don't let no one stop you.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I want to cry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you
so
much.
Yes.
It's February, right? February's edition of BAM Woman Magazine.
Yes, we have it. Y'all go get it.
I was honored to be in January. I'm honored to be in February. Definitely support them. They are awesome. I'm excited for what's going to come. And what Mr. Harris was saying, Mr. Harris, right? Yes. What he was saying was definitely, the ideas about men. Because, you know, it's one thing. There's so much women empowerment. There's so much women encouragement, but we need men to be encouraged as well. Because, you know, we put so much into the women, but then when the women are so ready and empowered, then they go to these men who are not empowered, then we get discouraged. So, you know, really an awesome to see how you're speaking to men and women, because it's needed. You know, we are the ones that are going to encourage our own communities. We can't wait for someone else to do it. So I'm just excited to see how you guys are going to blow up and let you be the next Jet. Let you outdo Jet. You know, like your grandparents, you know, your grandparents wanted your parents to do something, and your parents want you to do better than them. So we need to be better than next. They laid the foundation, they laid the mark, but we got to take it to the next level. So just be creative and innovative. I'll support anywhere that I can. Hopefully I'll be in Texas one day to come in to one of your events or come into the studio and just act a fool. But you know, it's just all about having a good time. But definitely, this is a time to create. This is a time to be innovative. And there's no limits. Be limitless and just really do it. And if it doesn't work, you go to, you know, it's like 7-Up. 7 times he tried until he got 7-Up. You know, Colonel KFC, it took him a lot of times to get there. Even Starbucks, over 500 times the bank denied him a loan. He did not give up. You know, so it's just realizing you just got to keep at it, and you'll definitely hit the jackpot.
Listen, I'm going to put this out here. We're going to have a conference, and I'm going to make sure I reach out to you. Because people need to hear this all over the place. So just be prepared.
Yeah, I need to get my speaking game up, because I'm definitely
Just keep speaking. Speak to your heart.
This will happen.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Speaking your heart.
Definitely. Yeah. Because you just did Black CEO with the I did as well.
Yes. And that was an experience in itself.
That was I really challenge every African American business owner to really reach out to Black CEO and get
He is so creative, so creative. And then there's the Black Women Confidential.
Yeah, Confidential.
so I'm a speaker in that as well. So definitely, you know, and it's really about supporting our own. There's a lot of different things. Black CO, I don't know if they put it out yet, so I can't say them. But Black CO is going to do some big things. They got some. So definitely follow them.
For real.
We are standing for the Black women and Black CEO Trevor Otts. And then, of course, I have to give a shout out to Sean Fair as well. I'll be speaking at the leadership tour. He is the Fair Consulting Group, a part of the Forbes Coaching Council. So I'm looking for that opportunity in June. So there's a lot of different things coming up. So we got to stick together and we got to take over.
Amen. Right. Well, we will definitely be sharing and posting all of your stuff because, girl, that's all I saw down my time. I was like, good God, this was
so definitely email if you have any flyers or anything that you want us to share and put on our website and platform, send it to us.
Oh, I will. I appreciate that so much. I do have a book project I'm working on, celebrating women in marketplace ministry. Women who have excelled in ministry and the marketplace. It's a taboo. You know, they want us to just stay in the four walls of the church and be evangelists and missionaries and be the women in white clothing, but not realizing that we have so much to offer as well. Just because we're women doesn't mean that we're an equal version of a human being, especially in the Black church, or some Black churches, I should say. So that's definitely a project we're pushing out to get women to be celebrated. So I'll definitely share that flyer with you. We're still looking for co-authors for the book collaboration. It's a guaranteed international bestseller. So many opportunities. It's a book package. You're not just going to be a part of a book. You know, we're setting you up for success. And so I'm really excited about that project and some other stuff coming out as well.
That's dope. Well, stay tuned, folks. Yes. This is just the beginning for Dr. Delica. I'm telling you. Well, thank you, beautiful. We appreciate you on the show. We thank you for your time. We're gonna let you go because we went over our time like 20 minutes.
It was definitely. Yes, thank you.
Doing, man. May God continue to bless you in all that you do. May your hands be blessed.
Thank you. Amen.
Damn, that's how we do it.
Well, thank you, Dr. Delica. We're gonna let you go, and then we're gonna close out. Have a good one.
Bye.
Woo! I can't listen.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, y'all. So before we go, I want to show y'all this shirt. This dope shirt. Y'all make sure y'all check out our merch. Bam Woman, Bam Guy. We have merchandise. So make sure y'all go to www.bamwomanmagazine.com. What all do we have on there? Shirts, masks?
There's shirts, there's masks. I think I did a fanny pack.
Oh.
But they'll have to click on the link. But yeah.
Nice.
If you pre-ordered your magazine, look, if you pre-ordered your magazine, I will be shipping those out next week. And if you are local, you will get a delivery. So like it's so real.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
It's kind of surreal because I'm just like, man, I mean, have a magazine.
You know, we have Bam Guy coming up. So y'all definitely we're gonna be highlighting some awesome guys in that magazine. So
and submissions are still open. Yes. So if you're interested, please email us, let us know, go to the website.
They're open through March 22nd.
Yes.
And all photos have to be professional. No selfies, no fuzzy, grainy photos, none of that. Like, they have to be professional. Yeah. We will turn you away. That's just what it is.
And if you need professional photos, let us know. We got you.
Yes.
We'll do that for you.
So just let us know. And if you need help with your bio, we got you too.
Absolutely. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Harris, you need your bio.
I need help with my bio.
We got you.
I got no help. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate your time. And I'm proud to know you guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that is our time. We went over it a bunch. But hey, peep the outro.